Hello, this is Matty77 at Bottom Feeders Incorporated. And we are ready for the Colossi 16. Sounds like some weird sci-fi inspired industrial album. Colossi 16. What am I doing? Come on, not time to be weird. Whoop. I mean, we know right where we're going. There's some emotional moments up in here, too. I'm just warning you. I'm not gonna cry or nothing. But... same time, I wouldn't feel completely bad if I did. Because this is truly a moment. That's not the right one. That. Okay. Oh, I remember what. There's a door you gotta open. I mean, I am in the right area. I just went to the wrong. It's not really all that weird that I went to the wrong thing. I think when I pointed it out last episode, I was actually pointing out the right thing. I think I just got distracted this time. I got some weird real world stuff going on right now too, so that always manages to make everything fun. I know that seems to be a thing with me, but can't help it. I don't try to, oh, let's get all kinds of messed up stuff going on. It's just, that's kind of how things work. I'm just the guy that's foolish enough to tell you when I got real wild stuff going on. Right there shows you it's going to be a little different because there hasn't been anything before now. We had to do something like that just to open up a... Whoa, what did I do? Yeah. Talk about getting yourself confused. Oh. Oh, that feels kind of bad, but it's proper. And let's be honest, it is nice to get another way on the way to the hoedown. Okay, this is... Oh! No, it's not supposed to do that. Hey, we're dead, buddy. Just don't try flying anymore. A little embarrassing. My own fault. To be honest with you. I really should have stayed on him. That's the same one, or is that another one? Let's see if we can do this proper this time. Thing is, you kind of need some speed, right? I didn't have that partly. Now watch. Very important. I just lost Wanda. I mean, aggro. Wanda lost aggro. For real. That wasn't me playing bad. That's not going to be another continue. That's for real. So your one friend, the one person that's had your back, regardless of what you're doing, gone. Whoa. Oh, come on. Oh, I'm just doing bad. Well, maybe I can get all the dumb stuff out of the way before. Oh, come on. Come on. Technically. Oh, I thought you could skip it, but... And we have already seen it. I definitely, even in a game like this, I'm definitely of the, if you've seen the cutscene once, skip it next time. School of thought. Unless it's like one of the games I'm going to be playing, like Until Dawn, that you kind of gotta let it go, because That's what the whole game is choosing things and making decisions that'll play out new cutscenes. But since that's not what this is, this definitely goes to a whole new level of environmental traversal mixed with danger, mixed with enemies. Is this where I was? Yeah, it's where I was. You know, sometimes I'm not sure how I get turned around. Okay, I should have known from these. This is one of those things that for me is kind of iconic, but there it is. The fortress slash guardian slash puzzle slash environmental hazard slash pain in the butt, and I hope I can remember all the different little getting to them's bad enough. Those are pretty much undodgeable, so. And no, we are still nowhere near safe. Some good rumble, though. Saw a thread about people asking about rumble. And how you feel about it, and if you think it's... Well, there's two things. One is, do you take it for granted? My whole thing is, oh shoot, I probably honestly take it for granted, but I like it. But the thing is, why I say I'm in the camp that takes it for granted is, I like Rumble, but I don't sit there and very often, unless it's something like this, I don't think of Rumble. I don't really think about it and care until something doesn't have it. And then that's when I remember, hey, remember Rumble? There we go. Now it becomes a matter of, do I remember and get through, or do I spend the whole entire video forgetting even what I should be doing? Never mind all the smart-ass comments I already know I'm going to be getting from Dorman. Got, I don't know if it'll work. This is one of those, try and get as many of them spooktacular things going and ready. Never mind the whole not wanting your grip meter to run out. Aw, man. All the way down. It's like I really don't know how to classify this. I understand feeling the need for something epic, but some of it just feels like more of a hassle than it should be. Especially when you add in, it really doesn't matter as much for me. If I'm being honest. But mind you, I'm not saying it doesn't matter at all. That's the whole point is. Oh shoot. That was dumb of me. My reaction times are at the point where it didn't matter as much for me. My reaction times and knowledge, but imagine being a first-time player. And dealing with the dragon teeth slash bunkers and the didn't get it. This is the one I had a lot of issues with for a while. I had no clue what I was supposed to be doing. This is also I guess you could say it's off topic. I don't think it is, but some people might argue, but this specific part is actually one of the major reasons why I argue against the idea that some people have that this game, in a way, and I don't know where this came from, that this game is somehow partly responsible or has something to do with why most story-based / artistic games have become walking simulators. And it's like, I don't know what you're talking about, because there it is. Wanted to make sure before I... So you gotta do this. And I failed it, but still, I got close enough. But we're gonna take a break. We're halfway there. Next time we should be able to take them out, depending. Like, hello, this is Maddie77 at Bottom Feeders Incorporated, back for the second half of fighting the 16th Titan. No, it's the Colossus. I'm thinking, I was just reading something about I guess the Respawn, the makers of, the makers of Titanfall are putting out a battle royale set in the world of Titanfall, which sounds pretty cool to me. I loved Titanfall 2, probably my favorite. Well, not my favorite, that'd probably be Doom, but one of my favorite first-person shooters of the generation. Really good game. And regardless of Battle Royale, the only one I've really been able to gel with at all is Fortnite, but it's still not what I perfectly want. It's just the one that works best for me. So I'm still open if something can provide me a better experience. And I trust in Respawn, going back to when they were still the real Infinity Ward that made the good Call of Duties, to the Titanfall series. Like, I trust them. I'm very willing to give them the benefit of the doubt and check it out. What's the word? It's free to play. That's the other thing I don't get people complaining. They're not asking you to buy a product. It's free to play. So if you don't like it, you can uninstall it. Understand people that act like that's some kind of huge barrier. I mean, if it's free to play, that means straight up, if you don't like it, don't play it. I guess for some people that kind of thing is too hard, but I want to give it a shot, because if it does any of the stuff I actually like, and it plays or feels in any way, shape, or form like Titanfall. What the heck? Basically, that means it should be a good game. And I'm willing to give it a shot. And I'm willing to give any of them a shot anyways. I was in the Realm Royale closed beta. I know I haven't really talked about it, but that's because that game... yeah. It was a bit okay. I'd never tell you it was bad. But it got old quick. And there were a lot of things in it that I say from my experience with things were I'd say in there for variety and to differentiate it, but I'm not so sure any of those things actually meant all that much at the end of the day. It's not how I feel about such things. Just, again, my personal opinion. Anybody who's spent any time listening to me knows I try not to get too worked up on what is my own personal opinion versus something else. See, and once you get up there, it's pretty much well, once you can get them to at least quiet down long enough to sort them. But the hard part is getting up on them. I didn't even, when I first played the remake, because I hadn't played the remaster in like a year, I forgot about the shooting the arrow at his shoulder part. I took way longer than I should have. Imagine all the falls and missteps, but then with consistently not getting that part down and making tons of jumps that I thought I had to make that weren't makeable, that are not what you need to do. That's a little bit of a picture of what happened when I first played through this remake. I know, I say it like, it'd been a year since I played the remaster, like it's some huge time differential. Because this is definitely one of those games that's in my... I try to play my most loved games within certain frequencies. Like, if I have it around, I don't always have it around, but if I have the source, I try to play Super Metroid once a year. Legend of Zelda Link to the Past at least once a year. Shadow once a year. Oh, see? Now I gotta go back up. Well, Shadow at least once a year. Link to the Past and Super Metroid. Depends on if I have them around. I won't buy a system just to have them. But if they're around, I like to play them. Bloodborne I'll definitely be doing that with, though that is newer to the whole entire canon of my favorite games. Actually, a good one for the list. Talking about since it's so new to it. So I'm probably gonna want to play the new God of War once every year or two. This Resident Evil 2 remaster, I'm gonna probably go back to. I still go back to the original of that. The only reason, like I've said in other places, I haven't gone back to that sooner than I have. Like the last time I think was, well, was when I upgraded to a PS4, and that's why I gave my PS3 to my niece. If I hadn't done that, if I had kept the game, I would still be playing Resident Evil 2 at least once a year. Like, that's still, and there's always the chance, because the deal with that is it's hers, I gave it to her, I don't believe in taking things like that back and whatnot. Let's get weird about it, but the bigger thing being, if she ever decides she don't want it or it's not getting used, she and her father have already been told there's no selling it or giving it away or doing something else with it. If she decides, if it ever comes to the point they don't want it anymore, it comes back to me. And I could always borrow it if I really wanted to. But I got the remake, and I'll be playing that, obviously, again, so. Well, yeah, that's something I've always done with games. Saints Row 3, that's another one. I don't know how many times I've played through that. And I have played through it more recently than having a PlayStation 3, mostly because, yeah, I'm sure I've mentioned this before, but if I haven't, I am a PS Now subscriber, and that is on PS Now. So I do boot that up on occasion. Thanks to cloud saves and how that works. This is the whole trick with ecosystems. Why the digital era, having backwards compatibility and stuff is going to be important going forward. I was able to boot up Saints Row 3 on Now streaming. You know, so on my console it's not even running. I'm just seeing the video and uploading my controller responses. Yet I was still able through the cloud to, instead of having to start a new game or to just start from scratch, I was able to go into my cloud saves and go to my old PS3 cloud saves. Put my Saints Row 3 save right up there and play from all the progress I'd already had, so. That's pretty awesome. Done that with quite a few PlayStation 3 games on Now, actually. Not just Saints Row, I've done it with a couple of the Resident Evils, done it with Red Dead Redemption. When I decided to see, when the second one was coming out, I wanted to take a look at the first one again and see if my feelings on it had changed at all and if I could gel with that enough to try the second one. And nope, still not a fan of it. It's kind of sad to say, actually, isn't it? 1 point huge rockstar backer. Like, and that's the weirdest part about it. It's like, I think it's better than their high def Grand Theft Autos. I think Red Dead Redemption first, I've played second. I probably never played second, but the first one, I think in a lot of ways it is a better game than both GTA 4 and 5. But I still don't really like it and have no desire whatsoever to keep playing it. In a way that I can't do nothing. Come on. Like, that's what I mean. That's cheap. That is the cheapest stuff. That should not even be. It's one of those things. Okay, this is what I was talking about when I said the flaws are not enough to make me lower my opinion on the game. Like, this does not lower my opinion on. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This does not lower my opinion on the game. I still think the game is straight up art and a masterpiece and one of the best games ever made. But this is definitely a weak point. Definitely something they should have. While I understand and for the most part agree with the not touching anything, just rebuilding the graphic assets and adding a more modern control scheme, at the same time, there's a few things in the design of this boss is one where, I don't know, I think a little bit more modernization in general really would have been a good thing. And here I am meandering about. It's just a crap video. If you're watching this, there's a good chance there was a thing in the middle, because I did some editing. I don't want to edit out everything, but at the same time, I really don't need two separate videos watching me flail at the same exact issue just because of how loose the design on this particular thing is. And add in the fact that I really do want the last video to be its own thing. Deserves it. I'm not gonna climb all the way over. Like, that makes no sense. There's no... real rhyme or reason why it should act that way. add in the fact I had to deal with my mother having my mother's diabetic and she had a reaction earlier, and I had to deal with that. And she was worse off than she should have been because I'm like, why didn't you call me right away? And she's like, oh, well, I knew you were recording. And it's like, man, it doesn't matter. I can always do whatever with recording. That's just something, at least at this point in my life, it's more of a hobby than anything else anyway. And your life matters more to me. And if something were to happen to her because of this, and I thought it was something I could have done something about, but like in a situation like that, she didn't call me because I was playing something. I think the guilt would eat me to the point that I'd probably die. It would kill me, not necessarily suicide or anything, but guilt would definitely kill me. I know that about myself. Like, and that's the thing, and I've kind of mentioned it before, I'll mention it again. Like, that's the thing with living with my mother, people don't understand, is because I'm single, I don't have a family, I don't plan on it, I don't want one. And my mother's got legitimate health issues. And they're the type of issues because of what they are and how it works. Like, she's not an invalid. She doesn't need like a live-in nurse or a live-in caretaker. Like, most of the time she's fine. She can do stuff for herself. She's still got her license. She can drive around. She can do things. Like, she's not an invalid. But at the same time, the way her reactions work, and there's been a few times things would be bad to the point of her death maybe if me or my brother hadn't been there. The thing is, there are points, especially at night, where she really shouldn't be alone. And since she's mostly independent on her own, and as her son, who, as I said, don't have a family, don't plan on having a family, it makes more sense for me to stay here and make sure she's okay. My brother's got a wife and a daughter. So he's got things going on that he can't just be there all the time. Well, he can. So I'd probably figure out how to make it both work anyways, but if I was into the idea of actually getting into a long-term relationship with a girl or having a child, it'd be a different story maybe, but it's not. Like, I don't do relationships. They don't work well for me. They never have. They just lead to pain and horribleness. Sometimes from them, sometimes from me. I'm not innocent. It's guilty. But relationships aren't good for me. They don't work for me. And without a relationship with someone you can at least stand, you shouldn't be having children, I don't think. And I'm not in a position to financially or emotionally support a child anyway. So it makes sense for me to stick around and help my mother. Alright, so I think I'm just gonna... Okay, let's get through this. First chance we have to stop it. Actually, let's see if this will pause. Okay, this pauses, so what we're gonna do